I really like, I mean, in general, I think curiosity, openness to the world, sort of engagement in ideas, and sort of being as interested in the world and in other people as you are in yourself. I think that, yeah, just a general openness to the world, and sort of what it has to offer and letting it surprise you. Um, I love I've never been a great relaxer. Like I certainly enjoy having choices about how to spend my time, but I don't think I'm a natural relaxer. It has to be sort of a purposeful activity, and a lot of that takes the shape of outdoor stuff, a lot of running, um, and if I'm sort of on vacation, I want the moments to be very full. I can't really just spend like an idle day at the beach without, even if I even if that sounds fun, I'll do that for half a day and feel pretty restless. So I like sort of to fill my leisure with activities and goals, whether that's getting to a certain place or finishing a race, those kind of things. The first English teacher that just blew me away was a woman named Mrs. Longquist. This was in 10th grade. Um, I had her for 2 years, 10th and 11th grade, and she was a little, pretty small, petite, 5'1", sort of um, middle-aged woman who was just a powerhouse intellectually and so devoted to students, but also so firm in a loving way, and somebody who really showed that balance of how to be an incredibly rigorous teacher while still being so empathetic to her students. And just we would spend a day on a single page of literature in a way that never felt boring. And I think it was sort of the first time I read that carefully and that closely, and was a little bit of a revelation to spend that much time on a page and just keep seeing new discoveries kind of unfurl from the way she would lead a discussion and from the language. I think it was probably an assignment in that same woman's class, Mrs. Longquist, where we each had to teach a poem. So we had an anthology, we could choose a poem that we were going to teach. And I just remember that assignment feeling so different, was that no longer was I just expected to sort of prepare to discuss this poem, but that I was going to lead a discussion. And I remember really spending, in any kind of rational way, spending way more time on that assignment than it deserved. It was a sort of throwaway end of the year assignment that um, wasn't all that important in terms of the grade of the class, but was just kind of a way for her to assign responsibility to students. But I spent hours and hours trying to come up with a way to sort of connect song lyrics to the poem and just think about how I could sort of bring out a discussion. I was so engaged in that assignment and really found that I loved leading this discussion of my peers. I sort of admire and find a lot of heroes to be obsessives, and I'm not an obsessive. I don't think I could give my life to a single cause. I think of a scientist who works on one problem for the entirety of their career, or even a more sort of more pop culture example, someone like Peyton Manning, or who's so singly devoted to one thing to become the absolute best at whatever that is that person's decided they want to pursue. And I really admire that, and I think it takes people like that to make meaningful differences in whether it's a social cause or just being the truly best at what you do. And I don't know if that's my disposition, is to be that single-minded and that obsessive about something, but I find that I really admire that in people, that can do that with that kind of single-minded purpose.